The science of reading is a very large body of research that shows us how the brain actually learns to read. And what it tells us is this: reading is not natural. It must be explicitly taught. In today's podcast, I'm going to break down for you the science of reading and how we are utilizing this research to create a really well-crafted, intentional, tailored instruction model for our students. This is a part of a curriculum series that I'm going to be giving and dispersing from now until the end of May to really describe our model at Lighthouse Learning. This specific instruction is tailored towards kindergarten through third grade. Now, this doesn't mean that some fourth and fifth graders may need this instruction as well. And today I will speak with you about how we are differentiating instruction across predominantly grades K through 3. In the coming episodes, you will learn more about our model and how we are reaching students grades 3 who are past phonics all the way up through grades 5 in our elementary model and even into our middle school. But today we're going to talk about the biggest reason some kids struggle with reading and why. What if the biggest reason that they struggle is because we're teaching them based on age instead of ability? So today we're going to talk about flipping that script. Welcome to the Redream Education Podcast. I'm Mackenzie Oliver, Microschool founder, educator, coach, and believer in the power of starting small, dreaming boldly, and rebuilding the future of education one courageous step at a time. If you're here, it's because something in your life, your classroom, your family, your child, your community, or your calling is asking for a new dream, a wiser dream, a redream. This podcast is where we challenge the old models, rethink what learning can be, and build innovative pathways for children, families, and communities. Each week, you'll gain the systems, strategies, stories, and soul work you need to design personalized learning, understand how education is changing for the better, start or scale a microschool, lead with confidence, make a change for your family, and create an education model that actually works for today's world. Because you aren't just dreaming of something different, you are building it. This is a space where we re-envision what school can be, reimagine how children learn, and rebuild the systems that were never designed to meet the needs of our future and current generation. This is a podcast to redream education as we share insights, strategies, stories, and tools to teach our children better, transform learning at home, support innovative education models, and invest financially or personally in the future of students everywhere. Because you aren't just dreaming about a better education, you're part of the movement to create it. Welcome to the Redream Education Podcast. This is where the future begins. Okay, I'm so excited and going back to my instructional coaching days. Oh, what a joy when I was honored the blessing to be an instructional coach at a local elementary school. I had the most incredible experience being able to lead and guide through what I'm going to be sharing with you today. That was very difficult for our school, and it was something that we did on a 1 day a week basis for about 45 minutes. But now at Lighthouse Learning, we are able to do this Monday through Wednesday with repeated activities on Thursdays and Fridays to help our students create a strong foundation in reading. I want to first start off with the problem with students reading and the struggle that we have specifically in a traditional model. In a traditional model, students grades kindergarten through third and beyond have grade level instruction, same lesson, same pace. But the reality is kids are different and they have different reading levels even within the same class. And so the result of this is that some are bored, some are lost, and few are truly at their level. So at Lighthouse Learning, we've truly built something different, and it's coming into year 7 that I've finally been able on a larger scale to pinpoint and create a systematic way of teaching, explaining, assessing, developing curriculum to support our learners. And while we have done this throughout the years, it's just become more and more and more fine-tuned. And that's because our school has grown. And because of the growth, we've been able to have so many other hands and hearts a part of this process of creating a really dynamic way for students to learn reading. The core components, and I'll specifically speak kindergarten through 3rd grade. So rather than students being based in age groups at Lighthouse Learning for the upcoming year, they will be ability grouped specifically for phonics for an ELA block, English Language Arts block, which will include not just phonics-based instruction, but also reading comprehension, writing fluency, and vocabulary. So the core components that we use is a phonics-based progression using the UFLI model, which stands for the University of Florida Literacy Initiative. Go check it out. It's beautiful. We also have a walk to learn model where students move by level, not by grade. So we start off our morning with our ELA block and students go to their reading teacher, and there will be students across multiple ages that are learning on the same level. There are intentional assessments. We have flexible grouping. So after being taught at least 3 to 4 weeks, we will assess to see if students have made progress and they can move through the levels of the University of Florida Literacy Initiative, which would mean that some students will move to a different classroom. So we will actually be creating one of my very favorite things, which is the data wall tracking for every student. So those are our core components. There are 5: a phonics-based progression using UFLI, a walk to learn model, intentional assessments, flexible grouping, and a data wall tracking for every student. And this is very important. We don't want this to be a cold assessment data driven. It's very intentional, and there's a ton of joy and a ton of creativity for our students when they go to their walk to learn model. So imagine this. You have a 2nd grader, regardless if they're struggling or if they are like maybe ahead of their phonics progression, and they walk to their reading teacher, and in their reading class, they have the first 15 minutes of a guided small group, well, actually a whole group with their whole class modeled reading lesson with the incredible, beautiful, colored text, a book in their hand. The teacher is reading, the teacher is modeling for them, and then the students break out into groups. One of the most important groups is the teacher-led group, where the teacher knows specifically what phonics level that child is on. And she might have a class of 2nd graders and 1st graders and 3rd graders that are all on this level. Could be that 1st graders are ahead of their phonics progression, and it might be that the 2nd graders are right where they need to be, and it might be that some 3rd graders are just slightly needing some intervention. So the students first will come in, have a whole group lesson with their teacher, which will be connected also to writing, and then the students break up into centers. And so the teacher will pull a small group, and she will be teaching based on their level with the University of Florida Literacy Initiative. The resources, the decodable readers, the magnets, the hands-on learning of creating words, manipulating words, and reading for fluency, automaticity, looking for vocabulary words, building up their reading fluency so that they are reading at a faster pace, that they are also reading at a tone and having annotation, that they are pausing at the right areas whenever they are reading, and that they are receiving phonics-based instruction on their level. Then that group will then rotate to the next center. Well, they will be reading a comprehension story. They will be working with peers. They could be doing a read and response. They would go to the next center where they would be working on their writing and their spelling, and moving to the fourth center, which would be vocabulary. After all of the centers, the students would come back together for one more culminating whole group activity, which will review vocabulary and phonics and comprehension all together. The students will then leave the classroom and grab a snack and head out to recess and lunch for an hour. Ta-da! That's the day in the life. That is one example, and I'm really pretty much speaking kindergarten to second grade and possibly third grade if they have not completed the 12 sets of skills in the UFLI progression. So students are not sitting in their second grade classroom struggling, nor are they sitting in their second grade classroom bored. They are receiving instruction based on their level. So that is an overall approach to how we take reading, and we really tailor it to the child's instruction. And that's based on very intentional assessments that we use at the beginning of the year. We use STAR reading to get an overall glimpse of the child's reading level. And then we also use the UFLI. So this is when students don't stay in one classroom for reading, they go where their level is. So as students are progressing, they're like, oh my goodness, I've already passed through skills 3 and 4, and now I'm going to potentially go to another classroom if the other students are not on their level, where they can be with students who are on their level. So it really gives us that still small school feeling, because multiple teachers have eyes on that student and the student is receiving exactly what they need. And this means that a younger student can be advanced and an older student can get support without stigma. A very powerful differentiator will be having a data wall where we know exactly where every student is. So if they have a phonics skill, and let's say they've passed skills 1, 2, 3, but they're struggling in skill 4, but they passed 5 and 6, but they're struggling in skill 7. We're not going to start a student at skill 3 and then they pass it and then they got to sit and work through skill 4 and 5. Remember, they've already passed it. So they will be learning skill 3, they will be learning with their group, and they will be going through the comprehension and the vocabulary, and then they will be able to move to the next phonics skill that will help them. This does require us to be very flexible in our grouping. It requires us to progress monitor students. It requires us to have clarity over our vision and our model, and to explain it very clearly to parents, to be able to show parents where the child is on the progression of reading. Will also have us be very flexible with our resources. So a student could potentially start off with comprehension on one level, and as they are growing and they're becoming more fluent and they've mastered their phonics, they can actually bump up into a higher level comprehension and writing. So with our data wall, the skills are tracked, the growth is very visible, the instruction is targeted, there's no guessing, we are responding. This is will be located in my office, and it is still. If you are a teacher, a homeschooling parent, or a brand new microschool founder who is trying to figure out what comes next, you need to hear this. Microschool Masterminds is the community and coaching program I wish I had when I first stepped out of the classroom and built our microschool. Yes, straight from the living room to now nearly over 100 students thriving in year 6. This is where teachers and founders finally get the roadmap, the support, and the systems to create a thriving microschool without burning out. Inside Microschool Masterminds, you will receive weekly live coaching with me and other powerful professionals who discuss strategy, solutions, and provide personal support. You also receive step-by-step modules to build your school legally, financially, and operationally. Marketing enrollment done for you with training that works even if you've never advertised before, and you can learn this on your own time through our Microschool Masterminds classroom modules. Worried about multi-age classrooms or curriculum? We've got you covered with our curriculum planning resources. You receive templates, checklists, scripts, and systems for marketing, financial systems, operations, community building, and growth. Everything is ready for you to plug in and go. Most importantly, you have access to a powerful community of other founders who understand your dreams and your fears. Whether you're starting really slow, or you're still teaching the classroom and you're dreaming of breaking free, or you're already running your micro school but feeling overwhelmed, trying to figure out also how to build a hybrid program. This is a place where you gain clarity, confidence, and of course, a plan. Because you don't have to do this alone. You deserve guidance, you deserve support, and your micro school deserves to grow with ease, not chaos. If you're ready to redream education and take the next step, join us inside Micro School Masterminds, where together we are building this education system better. Head over to redreameducation.com/masterminds to learn more. Again, that's redreameducation.com/masterminds. Backed by privacy, so students' information is not explicitly shown everywhere, and anybody walks my office can see it. We do have it hidden very well where the cards are turned, so every student has a card. Every student has their own level, and we've got the cards color-coded, and we've got pocket charts, and we literally physically move a child's card, and the student physically moves classrooms. It's a very beautiful cycle. I'd say at least every 3 weeks, if not 4, we adjust, we reassess, we regroup, we move students forward. No one is stuck, which does also open us up to not having to be bound to grades. A, B, C, D. What does that even mean to a child? What does that mean to a parent? Parents, students will see specifically what level they are, and it's a really great motivator. It's a great celebration as students know where they are and how they are progressing. It's an intrinsic motivating way to celebrate growth and progress. Phonics is important because it is a comprehension pathway. Students must master their decoding first. Once they test out of phonics, they can move into higher level comprehension, vocabulary, and higher level thinking. That doesn't mean that if it's a first grader who hasn't passed their phonics skills that they don't do any work with vocabulary or comprehension or writing. It just means that they need an added layer of phonics. As students test out of their phonics, they move into a higher level thinking of vocabulary, comprehension, spelling, and writing. The reason why this works is because the science of reading tells us that strong readers are built. They are not guessed. They have explicit phonics instruction, they have systematic progression, repetition and mastery, and targeted intervention. We're not just teaching kids to read, we're teaching them at the exact point that they need to grow. If you are a parent and your child is still learning reading, writing, and spelling, they are learning at the level that actually works for them. If you are a leader, this model allows you to serve multiple students at once, avoid burnout, and increase real outcomes. When we meet every child where they are, that's where real growth begins. There are 5 core parts to the science of reading. One I just mentioned is phonics, and the other 4 are phonemic awareness, which comes before phonics. It's hearing sounds in words like cat, k, at. Phonics is matching letters to sound, so they see that the C makes the k sound, the A makes the a sound, and the T makes the t sound. Then there's fluency, that's component 3, reading smoothly and accurately. 4 is vocabulary, understanding word meanings, and 5 is comprehension, which is understanding what you read. You can't skip steps. If phonics is weak, that's where comprehension struggles. If decoding isn't automatic, that's why reading feels hard. Most traditional classrooms teach reading by grade level, but the science of reading tells us it should be taught by skill level. So we Teach phonics first using the UFLI Foundations. It's explicit teacher-led instruction. It's systematic step-by-step progression. No guessing, no memorizing. Students build decoding skills the right way. In our Walk to Learn model, we group students by what they need, not their age. The students move to the level that they're ready for, and no one is held back or pushed too fast, which aligns directly with the science of reading research. Again, we use data-driven decisions. We assess intentionally when a student enrolls, and we track everything when it comes to their skills. And we have a data wall for visibility because it's not just one teacher's responsibility, it's us together as an entire school. So the teachers know exactly what a student knows and what they need, and therefore instruction becomes targeted and effective. Flexible grouping is definitely a part of this so that no one stays stuck. We can reassess, we can regroup, we can move forward, and this prevents gaps from growing and boredom and frustration, which is why on our website you will see it will say a mastery-based walk-to model. Where students master phonics, they move up and they exit their phonics groups and they enter a higher level comprehension, vocabulary, and writing development. This is the natural progression that the brain needs. The science of reading shows us that skills are connected. And at Lighthouse Learning, we want students to read, write, and spell at their level, not their grade. The reason this model works is that we're not teaching one lesson to 20 kids and hoping that it works. We're teaching the right lesson to each child. And the results are that we have faster progress, stronger readers, there's more confidence, and there's less frustration. And I want to reassure parents that your child is not behind. They just need the instruction that matches where they are. And as a leader, this model allows you to teach multiple levels effectively, reduce gaps, and increase real outcomes, not just grade level completion. If you are a microschool leader and you are needing help with this concept and developing your curriculum, I highly suggest that you hop into our microschool masterminds. Join us. We meet together weekly through May and June and July. This will be a huge focus, curriculum development, and I would love for you to join us as we get into the nitty-gritty and I can actually show you behind the scenes of how this is built. So hop in now. It's redreameducation.com/masterminds. I'd love to show this to more and more microschool leaders because it is extremely powerful. I saw this work when I was in public school and we could only do it on a little drip drop basis. And we were the only school to do it this way. And now to be able to do this in our microschool setting is just such a blessing. Please remember that reading is not about moving through a grade. It's about building a brain. So with this in mind, please, again, if you are a parent, be reassured. Check out the University of Florida Literacy Initiative. And as a microschool leader, hop into microschool masterminds at redreameducation.com masterminds, and let's build these strong readers together. It is time to redream education and to actually take that next step. Join us in Microschool Masterminds every single week for live group coaching, self-paced modules, and of course, a powerful community. Head on over to redreameducation.com/masterminds and join us in our free Facebook group at Redream Education Microschool Community. To learn more, that's redreameducation.com/masterminds.